Hi guys, welcome back to the Daily Dreamer. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me for a dream. I'm just going to get started on this one because this one's a pretty good one. So I wake up from 2 and I am standing on a rainbow road. It's kind of cool. It's actually in space. And I'm walking, and as I'm walking, it doesn't feel like I'm going anywhere, but maybe I am. I don't know. Anyway, soon as I am walking through space on this rainbow road, there is a section where I have to jump. And I have to jump pretty high. And there was a moment of concern because I thought, well, how am I supposed to get up here? Then I remembered it was dreamland. I can manifest myself up there. So the concern was no longer there. In fact, just as quick as it was gone. So I manifested myself up there. And then I happened to hear like a distant sound as though someone was calling for me. And so I turn around, I can't find anyone. And then I just happened, just out of curiosity, just look down. And when I looked down, I happened to see my friend down there. And I was trying to reach for him. And I could see them struggling. I could see them, yelling for help. And I'm trying to get to them, but I couldn't seem to reach them or couldn't seem to get them up. And more as I tried and they struggled, the distance kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at this point now I'm panicking. Now I'm trying to figure out, how on earth am I supposed to save this person? Well, then I get back up, and as I get back up to look around to see if there's a way that I can manifest him up here, because it's not my thought that was going to allow him to manifest up there. He had to actually come to the awareness that it was his thought, his manifestation, his desire. But he didn't quite catch on, and so he didn't manage to make it up there. The dream was a quick one. It whisked me back to consciousness at that point. At that point, then I get up and I write down the few notes that I had and then do what I've got to do and get back to bed. And then, of course, I have another dream. But what a quick, awesome, amazing, and weird dream to have. What do you suppose it meant? Well, let's go find out. Let's talk about the power of choice, shall we? Do you feel like life is handing you some lemons right now currently? Does it feel like someone turned the volume up on that radio and putting icebergs in your path? Yeah. There are all kinds of things going on right now around us, folks, that even though it is not being covered by mainstream media, there are some serious happenings and changes going on currently. Well, let's talk about the power of choice. Let's talk about how there are two timelines that are playing out currently. And right now you have the opportunity to choose which one you're going to go on. Are you going to surf the waves, or are you going to get pounded and pummeled by them? It's your choice. You have a choice. It's either choice or it's fate. So let's discuss that. Let's say that we have, let's do an election night, shall we? An election night for us, for our ethereal selves, our energetic selves, our soul self, if you will. Let's say we have an election night and we have two choices. We have a choice to just hang out where we're at and see where things are going, or we have a choice to maybe just go a whole octave higher, where no matter what happens on that timeline, no matter what lemons are being thrown at you, you have the glove to be able to catch them with. Which timeline do you want to choose for yourself? Which dimensional frequency are you wanting to reside in? Are you wanting to reside in the one that you're currently in and hang out and see where things are going to play out? Or do you want to go for the one that's like not just filled with just amazing things for you? If you choose the octave that's higher, then let's go ahead and cast that vote now. And how do you do that? Well, you sit for 5 minutes a day and you focus all of your mental energy and your thoughts and your visions towards that election. If that's where you want to go, then you sit there and you think about it for 5 minutes a day, folks. Think about all the lovely encounters that you'll have. Think about the no problems that are going to be on that timeline. Think about the same current issues that you are constantly finding yourself facing. Maybe you fail the same test over and over and over and over again. Maybe, you got car problems every week. Maybe you've got, job issues that you are dealing with. or insecurities with other people. Let's say all those problems that you have to deal with just go away. If that is the timeline that you want for yourself, then take 2 to 3 to 5 minutes a day and put all of your mental focus and your energies on that timeline. Go ahead. I'll wait for you to cast your vote. It's worth it because you're worth it. Folks, if you focus primarily on the hate, the negative situations, that is where your energy is going to go. That is where you're going to reside at. Your energy doesn't give you a choice at that point because energy follows thought. So it is important to know where your thoughts are going to be residing in. If you focus on the negative, it's going to allow you to stay there. You see, it isn't changing. It isn't about changing the world or changing other people out there. It isn't about changing anything that is beyond out here. Okay? That is where it is. It is about self-transformation. It is about you changing yourself. It is about free will versus fate. Your power of choice. It is about taking responsibility for who you are in your own destiny before someone else does. Simply by proxy, simply by default, simply because you chose to be complacent and not change. Because not changing and not making a decision is also not going to be good for you either. So you got to make a choice. You're going to have to cast your vote one way or another. So how else are you going to do it? You know, if you want to hang out and see how it plays out, then by all means, catch you on the flip side. Your energy follows your thought. So it's going to be a really nice aspect if you can understand the power of free will and choice. The one thing that I do appreciate about free will is that it actually doesn't require me to have any validation with any other belief system out there. So that's always a great thing. If you choose free will, if you choose, choice, you no longer have to pretend with society and what they agree with. You don't care about being judged. You don't care about any of that. Guess why? Because when you choose to leave that behind, when you choose to raise your vibrations, your ego dissipates and it just disappears. And with your ego disappearing, so do the worries about being judged. So do the worries about what everyone else thinks. That goes away. And that's a great feeling of freedom, folks. So take a moment and look around and see, what timeline are you currently residing on? Free will is not concerned with the ego side of ourselves being judged. We don't care if we're laughed at. We don't care if we're pointed towards. There are 3 levels currently to our choices that we make as humans. The first level of choice includes a multitude of relatively small decisions that we make on a daily basis. It's the weekly, the monthly, everyday life stuff. That's the first level of choice. The yeses, the nos, the let's do this, let's do that. The second level of choice that we make as humans, it's more represented by the fundamental choices that we make around our life and how it's going to operate. It determines our comfort zone, if you will. The third level of choice, it involves being long-range plans. The discussions that we have with ourselves to guide us into our goals or where we want to see ourselves in 5 to 10 years. So there's 3 levels of choices that we make. Now, on the surface, it seems like it's straightforward, and it kind of is. You make these small decisions that eventually will lead to other decisions that eventually lead to, you either reaching your goals or not. But when you make those 3 levels of choices for yourself, understand that it is leading you down choices and paths that give you serious potential opportunities, if you will. But if you're choosing to stay in the current timeline with your current choices day after day after day, then understand that if you argue with limitations, you're going to always get your limitations, because the universe just wants to see you get what you think. So if you're always concerning yourself with the fact that, well, I always fail these tests, well, I always have car problems, well, I always lose these type of jobs, you're arguing with yourself over the limitations that you've placed on yourself in the timeline that you're currently in. And so if you're going to argue with yourself over how and justify why everything is always the way it is, then the universe is just going to say to you, you know what? That's just how it's going to be, because that's what you choose to continue to put in your way. So you have to understand, you have to be aware. You have to be awakened, if you will, to these choices. All right? The hitch, there's always a hitch with these choices. The hitch is that no choice or decision can exceed outside the parameters of the second level choice. Does that make sense? Probably not. All right, for example, if your choice in life is to have a minimum amount of responsibility, then you can't by all means by default in choice level 2 expect to become the president of the United States. That's just not going to happen. Not if your first choice was minimum responsibility. Does it make sense now? Energy will always follow thought. When you fail in a decision and the lemon-scented situations that are handed to you, your intention has to become one of a positiveness when you are dealing with it. When you're handed those lemons, instead of saying, oh, it always happens this way, turn it around. Oh, you know what? I must be meant to learn something from this. Because you start changing your thinking. And now you're not arguing with limitations. And now you're not putting parameters on yourself. And now you're not stuck in a box. Now you're retraining your thoughts to be positive, changing them towards the better. You know, if you look at it in a positive way, it's a new adventure for you. Whatever you've got to say to get yourself out of the negative current, same old reactions that you put for yourself. It's really important that you understand how important your energy is when you think these thoughts. You know, even though you're not putting them out there verbally, you're in here. So you're constantly creating that cycle for yourself. You guys, you can't ever fail if you never give up to begin with. You can't ever lose if you never allow the loss in the first place. Folks, which timeline are you going to choose for yourself? Are you going to choose the first one, or are you going to choose the octave higher one? Go ahead, sit and make a vote tonight. Vote for yourselves. You deserve it. Growth only happens when you vote for a change for you. Growth doesn't happen when you're constantly defending your old ways and your old beliefs that no longer serve you. So take a moment, take 5 minutes actually. Sit with yourself. Vote for your soul self to grow, move on, allow things to happen for you on a better timeline. I'm telling you, 5 minutes a day, folks, and you'll see timelines change for yourself. Till next time, guys, thanks so much for joining me for the Daily Dream, and many blessings to you.